Hey guys, this is Nick, your friendly neighborhood part-time gamer guy. This time I'm playing Mass Effect Andromeda. I'm just going to assume that you already know that Mass Effect Andromeda is a story about finding a new home for humanity in a distant galaxy, so no time to waste. Let's get it on. Well, you know what I mean. To start, I'd very much like to touch on the bed. Whoa, excuse me, I said touch on the bad. This is Mass Effect after all, but I'm afraid I'm getting a little ahead of myself. And moving on. This game is bugged. It's not unplayable, however. I was able to complete it. Eventually. Some bugs can be pretty entertaining. For instance, I had a few characters who were clearly supposed to be talking, just appear invisible and speak muted. Wait a minute, can you appear invisible or speak muted? Wouldn't that be like going to bed dead? Anyway, some of the not-so-fun bugs I experienced were game-locking freezes, imaginary enemies preventing me from conversation, camera freezes that left me on the sideline of a scene, and not being able to pull my weapon out during certain combat situations. So, just a fair warning, you will probably get frustrated at times. Another type of frustration is wandering into the Nexus and noticing that the security guards are working on their sorority squad. Like, for real, man, I don't know what you're doing, but it's weirding me out, so would you please just stop it? What you won't get frustrated by is the scenery. This game is gorgeous. It could quit its day job and go all in on modeling. It's that pretty. The Frostbite engine is definitely well received. I just love the vast color range. There's one planet in particular that really reminded me of the first time I watched Avatar. The colors are out of this world. All terrible jokes aside, just take a look at the scenery you can expect to see in your playthrough. It's really incredible. Now, usually, great graphics come at a cost. This game is no exception. Sometimes textures take a long time to load, other times they don't even load at all. Frame rate is known to drop in certain densely populated areas as well. I wouldn't consider these issues game-breaking, however, they are still there. I'll tell you what isn't there though, a slider for eyebrows. You can't change them. It's not the only thing lacking from the character creation screen either. Once you select a base head, that's your race. No amount of sliding can change it. In my case, I generally try to make my RPG characters resemble myself, at least a little bit. My first attempt turned out very Asian. Each character will have a few flaws that you can't fix. Abnormally round cheeks, uneven facial hair, one smaller eye, you get the idea. It's tempting to just select the default appearance and be done with it. That would have saved me an hour at least. Not that 1 hour would have made much of a difference. I spent so much time scanning. That's right, scanning. Let me be clear, it's exactly as much fun as it sounds. Now it makes sense given the story background, but it doesn't mean I have to like it. This game also brings out a side of me that I don't like. Now, it is my own fault. I am a completionist. If you're like me, this game will drive you nuts. There are little missions scattered all over each world. You know they aren't important, but you're going to do them anyway. And yes, it involves a lot of planet hopping. The running all around is somewhat made up for by the vehicle you drive. The Nomad is pretty beastly if I do say so myself. Couple that with the fact that missions sort of have this flow to them. You'll start working on one mission, and before you know it, you'll have completed 15 missions and it's now roughly 3 o'clock a.m. So good luck getting up in the morning for work. I know this game has kind of ruined my life. Speaking of lives, you're going to end a lot of them. Sure, some parts of the game seem flawed, but combat is where Andromeda really shines. Guns are fun to craft and customize. Powers cool down independently just like they did in Mass Effect 1, making your loadouts more strategic than ever. I never did get the hang of commanding my squad mates, but I did notice that their intelligence was better than in games past. I found myself sticking to a set squad with set powers, even though I had many possibilities. If you like to switch things up, you'll love the combat even more. Another facet of the game that received notable enhancement is the free-flowing conversations. No longer are you tied to the up is good, down is bad ideal. Inheriting the conversation wheel from Dragon Age Inquisition, each emotionally charged response has its own icon, so you won't have to stick your foot in your mouth after saying something completely different from the response summary. You all know what I'm talking about.
I've had enough of your snide insinuations.
So worth it. Oh, and one more thing. Ryder is really funny.
Except I am gonna fuck your shit up. How's that for great? You know, it's hard to calculate how few fucks I give about Tan's opinion.
Making their first appearance since Mass Effect 2, loyalty missions are back with a vengeance. And that's a good thing, because the crew, much like the OG Mass Effect games, is one of the best parts of the entire game. I enjoyed the loyalty missions more than any others, hands down. Now, after earning a crew member's loyalty, you can expect to do a bit of banging.
Uh-oh. Got a report of a very serious lighting malfunction in your quarters.
In my quarters, huh?
Staying true to the franchise, you pretty much get to bang anyone and anything in sight. In fact, there's an achievement for screwing 3 people across all playthroughs. And don't let the fact that you're in a committed relationship with one crew member prevent you from getting that reward. Let me tell you, this isn't your father's Mass Effect game either. We're not talking about a fade to black scene. I would probably compare it to a parent taking their kid to go see Logan and expecting it to just be another X-Men movie. My absolute favorite part of this game, however, is actually the part of the game that has the least to do with the game. That's gotta be redundant. The Easter eggs and references to the original trilogy are scarce at first, but the more you delve into the new game, the more you hear of the originals. Oddly enough, some of the best story arcs are hidden in some of the dullest missions. I played this game on the Xbox One with my playtime ending up right around 90 hours. Now, there's plenty of content to go over even that. I skipped several tasks that did not include map markers because I just didn't have the patience. I also don't remember much about the music, which is in stark contrast to the original series. And don't expect any familiar tunes to make a comeback either. The new soundtrack is supposed to bring the Mass Effect music to the future, whatever that means. That's literally what it said in my digital soundtrack copy. So here's my bottom line. Mass Effect Andromeda doesn't feel very much like a Mass Effect game, and I'll also concede that it's the worst Mass Effect game released to date. But for Mass Effect fans, it's still a decent buy, and for new fans, I think it's still worth a play, especially since your expectations haven't been inflated to gargantuan highs based on the OG trilogy. So my advice, if you have the patience to drop 70 plus hours into the game, find it on sale and skip the task missions. Part-time gamers with only a couple hours per week to play should probably take a pass on this one. Side missions, if they're all completed, looking at you completionists, cause the story to progress very slowly. So there you have it. This has been my opinion on Mass Effect Andromeda. If you found the video useful, please give it a thumbs up below. If you thought it sucked as bad as the facial animations, give it a thumbs down. In either case, I'm open to discussion in the comments. You can also find links to buy the game in the description, as well as a link to my full review. So thanks for watching. Until next time, sayonara suckers!